Good morning. Four prophets. Sunday of Four Prophets, May 16, 2020. Four prophets are praying Israel in Tuesday as rocket attacks are praying Jerusalem.
TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the conflict between Israel and the Islamist organizations in the Gaza Strip is seemingly ramping up. The conflict between Israel and the Islamist organizations in the Gaza Strip is seemingly ramping up, with roughly 300 rockets fired indiscriminately from the Hamas-controlled territory toward Israel's civilian communities over the course of the past 36 hours alone and counting. Among the multiple barrages directed at Israel, one projectile managed to directly strike a residential building in the Eshkol Regional Council this afternoon, killing at least 2 Israeli civilians and wounding 8 others, including 2 in severe condition. All the while in Gaza, the IDF is persisting with its aerial bombardments against militant targets, including in the neighborhood of Rimal, which houses infrastructure of senior officials of both Hamas and Islamic Jihad, while in tandem, IDF fighter jets, aircraft, and artillery batteries are focusing on further devastating the so-called Hamas Metro, which includes a subterranean network of tunnels, weapons caches, and other military infrastructure. Separately, tensions on Israel's northern and eastern fronts have seemingly reached new heights. On the northern front, 6 rockets were fired from Lebanon toward Israel. Thankfully, however, they all exploded in uninhabited areas in both Lebanese and Israeli territory. While it remains unclear who was responsible for the rocket fire from Lebanon, the IDF immediately retaliated by firing artillery shells toward the area from which the launches were made. In tandem, the IDF Home Front Command instructed to prepare bomb shelters in Israel's northern communities, which are situated up to 4 kilometers or roughly 2.5 miles from the Israeli-Lebanese border. It is important to mention that the IDF thwarted an attempted infiltration from Lebanon over the weekend, during which a group of Hezbollah operatives managed to cross the border into Israel before IDF troops opened fire toward the infiltrating cell, killing one of its members.